Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video today. Today, I want to talk about the Summer Skirmish tournament held by Epic Games themselves. Some of you may not be familiar, so I'm here to fill you guys in on that. For those of you who watched it or do know about it, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. But traditionally, every Friday, there's been a Friday Fortnite tournament organized through Keemstar, and it's been a $20,000 tournament for the past, I don't know how many weeks, many weeks now. And all the big streamers and influencers will play in this tournament, and it's a duo-based event where two duos join up together in a four-man squad and drop in and see who can get the most kills as a duo. You are on the same team, but obviously you're competing against each other. So that's the format of Friday Fortnite. However, Epic decided to do the Summer Skirmish on Friday, therefore obviously Friday Fortnite was cancelled. But they decided to take a different approach to it. It was going to be done through public lobbies just like Friday Fortnite. However, the difference being that they were solo-based events and it was a point system rather than just most kills wins. Now, I was kind of skeptical to see how this would play out. In the beginning, I thought it would be entertaining, but maybe not as entertaining as two duos trying to outslay each other in a squad game. But it turned out it was wildly successful in my opinion. It was extremely entertaining and very well done because they didn't have any of the problems that we saw in week one. Now, if you weren't aware, week one was a disaster. I mean, I don't think there's any way really around that. I think they just did a really good job of owning up to the fact that the server performance in week one and just how the entire thing played, just about every aspect of it was absolutely horrendous to watch. It was legitimately so boring to watch. It was just a giant camp fest with everyone lurking. There would be about 30 people left when there's usually about, I think in a normal game, when there was top 5 or top 10, they did post graphs on this. I might be able to throw them in here. But when it was top 10 or top 5, there'd be about 30 players left in Skirmish week 1, which meant that the entire server just got incredibly laggy and unplayable, quite frankly. The only reason that I wanted to make this video is A, because I love esports, just everything about it, and obviously Fortnite is the game that I got my eye on right now, so it's fun to talk about. I always have a lot to say about these tournaments because I like to observe all the different aspects of it, and I think I have a pretty good idea of what a good tournament looks like, and what, obviously as a viewer, what I like to see. Obviously it's all opinion, and I'm not saying that I have the answers to everything, but I do like to give my opinion. And I think a lot of people would agree with the stuff that I have said and will be saying later on in this video. And the second reason being that it was such a positive turnaround in my eyes. I really didn't like week one, and I think a majority of people really just didn't have any fun watching week one. But the difference there was that instead of just like trying to continue with this extremely awkward 100 streamers or pro players in the same lobby fighting each other, they went with something new and went to a public lobby format, and it reduced all of the problems. Not only did they go to a public lobby format and try something new and have a very good point system, which I'll get into, they also switched up the casters. All 3 of the casters last week in week 1, I did not like at all. It was 3 people that clearly have not played nearly as much of the game and clearly have not played at a high level, which is exactly what you actually want in a caster. You want a caster to be very knowledgeable on the game and the high-end competitive tactics. They don't have to necessarily be at that level, but they need to understand it and be able to explain it and have the game knowledge to also explain to new players and the high-level players what's going on in the game. And they didn't have that in week 1, and it was just really there was many extremely cringy moments. I don't use that word very lightly, but it was actually kind of hard to watch at some points just with how they commentated. But what they did was absolutely perfect in getting a professional player that was not competing to actually help cast. It added so much. And if you're not aware who casted, it was Hamlin's TSM Pro. On top of the fact that you have someone that can explain everything to people that may not know the high-level strats, he has a personality. Like, he has a very positive, enjoyable personality to watch and listen to. So it's one of those things where it was just a great decision for them to go that route and get someone that actually can tell you exactly what's going on, has great game sense, knows what players are thinking, knows probably a majority of the players that are actually playing personally. It was a really good idea there, so that was a huge improvement as well. Those are the main thoughts I had. I just wanted to share kind of my initial thoughts of the entire new week 2 format. I don't think that they've released any information on week 3 or if they're going to be continuing with the week 2 style, but I really think that they hit something great there, and the point system was a really smart, well thought out. It could be adjusted a little bit. I think that I don't really have a problem with it, but I think that it should be a good thing to get players' feedback that actually played in the tournament and see what they think about the point system. Again, if you're not aware of how the point system works, it was 1 point per kill every game, 5 points for a victory royale, and an additional 10 points on top of the other point values if you got a 20 kill plus game. For an example, if you're still confused, I'll give you a very basic one. If you get 10 kills, you have 10 points from those 10 kills, and you win the game, that's 15 points. If you have exactly 20 kills, that's 20 points from those kills, 5 for winning the game, and another 10 for getting the 20 plus, equaling 35. Each player competing had 10 games to play, and the points from each game were tallied up to a grand total, and the person with the most points at the end of those 10 games, once everyone's finished, obviously became the winner, and then the placings were determined off of everyone's total points. I thought the 10 game system was a fantastic idea. It was so whack in week 1 where one duo team, if they won 2 games, they would win the tournament, otherwise they'd keep playing. It was just such a weird, convoluted way of running a tournament, but a kill-based tournament like this, where you also are rewarded for winning the game and going extremely huge and getting 20 kill games, it made for some very intense plays, and I think that a lot of the players actually playing seem to really enjoy that format. Obviously, as a viewer, you're going to enjoy watching it if it's primarily kill based, because you are getting most of your points off of kills, unless you're dropping a 20, in which case the win plus that 20 kill bonus factors in a massive amount. But you're still getting the most off kills, so everyone's rushing and not camping at all. Sometimes they play it safe towards the end because they want that 5-point win bonus when they don't really have too many more people to kill. It's smarter to go for the 5 points rather than an additional 1 or 2 points for a couple more kills. So I just thought it was a fantastic idea to switch it up, and I really do hope that they play with this idea and continue this idea in the weeks to come, because it was so much more enjoyable to watch. I want to briefly go over the standings, and I don't want to get too into it because that's not really the main point of this video. It's more about sharing my thoughts on how the tournament went down and what we can learn from it. But I do want to share with you guys that may have missed the total standings, but I just want to point out some notable players that I actually think either did better or worse than what I expected them to do. So we're just going to go down the list here. I'll put it up on the screen, but I just want to go over some of these top players here. Obviously, number 1, there's a lot of controversy right now around that. No one really knows who he is. A lot of people are accusing him of some things. I'm not going to get into that. That's for Epic Games to thoroughly investigate and then determine. As long as he's clean, he totally deserves the money, obviously. And if there is something that can be provable that he's done wrong or cheated in any way, then obviously he should be disqualified and everyone should be bumped up to the next spot. But as of now, I don't have enough information on that to even speak on that. But I Drop Bodies was number 1 by a significant amount. All I can say about that is if he legitimately won this game fair and square, huge shout out to him. Being virtually unknown and then winning a tournament with all of these incredible players in it, you deserve so much recognition. So congrats to him if that all turns out fine and dandy. I was talking to some people before this tournament about who we could see in the top 10, and FaZe Cloak, obviously Cloaksy was one of the people that I did think that was going to be hanging around the top 10. Didn't really expect him to be number 2, but he managed. He obviously is an incredible player. Definitely deserved it. Played awesome. Clutched up his very last game to put him in number 2. Now Nick Merckx, someone I've been watching so much of recently. I've had hours and hours of time to watch him play, see how he operates. I actually said last night that he would be a very good contender for number 1. He didn't win, obviously, but he was a very good contender. He just missed out on 2nd place. No one was close to 1st, so it was kind of a given that everyone would be a ways below 1st place. But he came in a very nice 3rd. I predicted a 1st, like I said, but you cannot be upset with 3rd. That is a lot of prize money right there. Skipping through a lot of people that are kind of not really personalities per se yet, but they're very good players. We go down to Day, who ended up getting 10th which obviously is another great finish. Can't be too upset with a top 10 finish here. I expected him to be somewhere in the top 10. He did drop a 20 bomb, which I forgot to mention earlier. If you drop the 20 bomb, there's a $10,000 bonus on top of the point bonus that you get. One that I was very surprised about is actually Marksman. I've watched Marksman for a very, very long time, going back years and years into the COD days when he played COD all the time. I never thought he took Fortnite all that seriously. I thought he just played it for fun. I always knew he's a good player, but 11th place finish is really awesome. I mean, congrats to him. That's actually a really great finish. In 14th Ninja, I mean, that, again, top 20 even in this tournament is incredible, because that's, I think, to top 20, it's all a significant amount of prize money, so I would definitely be happy with anything in there. And keep in mind, the points are very close from about 4th place all the way down to, say, 14th. Those are all within like 1 game's amount of points away. So Ninja at 14th, that's not surprising. I mean, he could have been anywhere from top 20 to number 1. I really don't know. I'll leave off on this one because this one surprised me by far the most. I know there's so many people I could bring up and talk about, but I want to keep with the really, really big names that most people would know. Tfue coming in at 16th, which is extremely surprising for me. I actually put him easily in the top 5. He has the skill to easily dominate and potentially win. I was putting him in the top 5, but he, I think, honestly underperformed. I truly think that Tfue's one of the best in the game right now. There's very few people that can match his skill in all these different categories. And I think that's a little bit of a disappointing performance. I'm sure he's not extremely thrilled with a 16th. That pretty much wraps up. There's so many other great players that are below that, but I can't really go over everyone. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this commentary. It's been a while since I've done a discussion about, you know, a Fortnite topic, something hot in the community that everyone's talking about. But if you want to see more of these videos, make sure to leave a like, comment down below, subscribe if you are brand new, and turn on notifications if you want to see my videos. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Dead. Yeah, dude. Oh, that's the strategy, my man.
How many kills? 12? 6.